Fear is one of the oldest and most powerful forces in the human experience. It is instinctive, it is primal, it is wired deep within us, not to destroy us, but to awaken us. Every person alive knows fear, the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, the fear of uncertainty, the fear of the unknown, the fear of not being enough, the fear of losing what we love, the fear of taking the next step into something bigger than ourselves. And for most people, fear becomes a cage. It becomes a wall. It becomes the chain that holds them back from everything they truly desire. But there is another way to experience fear. There is a way to transform it into power rather than paralysis. There is a way to let fear move you. The truth is, fear is not your enemy. Fear is your signal. Fear is your invitation. Fear is your proof that you are standing at the edge of something that matters. Nobody fears something meaningless. Nobody feels anxiety about a life that is small, predictable, and comfortable. Fear only rises when your spirit recognizes that you are stepping toward growth, toward possibility, toward evolution. Fear is often the first sign that you are on the right path. Think about every major decision you've ever faced, every dream that ever entered your heart, every moment in your life when you felt the pull to do something bigger. You didn't feel calm, you didn't feel ready, you didn't feel certain, you felt fear. And yet, if you look back, those were the moments that shaped you. Those were the moments that defined you. Those were the moments when fear did not stop you. Fear moved you. It pushed you into becoming someone stronger, someone wiser, someone more powerful than the person you were before. Fear is a force that demands attention. It grabs your heart. It shakes your body. It speeds your pulse. But buried underneath all that intensity is a message: wake up. Pay attention. Something important is happening here. Fear is not trying to push you away from life. It is trying to push you into it. Most people misunderstand fear because they believe fear means danger. But many times, fear means direction. It means you are walking towards something unfamiliar, something challenging, something necessary. When you understand this, fear transforms from a barrier into a compass. It shows you where your limits currently are and where you are meant to grow next. If you want a bigger life, you must understand this truth: fear is never going away. It does not disappear when you reach a certain level of success. It does not fade when you gain more experience. It does not shrink when you gain more confidence. Fear grows with you. The more you achieve, the more you stretch yourself, the more you challenge the boundaries of your comfort zone, the more fear rises. If you wait for fear to vanish before you act, you will spend your entire life waiting. You must learn to walk with fear, not after it leaves, but while it is present. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is movement in the presence of fear. Courage is saying, I feel the shaking, I feel the uncertainty, I feel the doubt, but I will move anyway. Courage is not built by eliminating fear. It is built by facing fear and realizing it cannot stop you. Inside every one of us is a warrior built to walk through fear. You may not feel like a warrior right now. You may feel tired, overwhelmed, unsure. But understand this: the fact that you feel fear means you are alive. It means your heart still beats for something. It means you still have dreams that matter. It means you still care deeply about a future that deserves your effort. Fear only visits those who have something valuable to lose or something powerful to gain. People who have given up feel nothing. People who have quit dreaming feel numb. People who have surrendered to mediocrity avoid fear by avoiding life. But you feel fear because something in you is still fighting, still rising, still reaching, still hungry. That hunger is your strength. That fear is your signal. You are not done yet. The fear that moves us is different from the fear that traps us. The fear that traps us says, stop, turn around, play it safe. It whispers that you are not capable, not ready, not strong enough. But the fear that moves us says, go forward. You are entering new territory. You are growing. Keep going. You must learn to distinguish the two. You must learn to listen to the fear that challenges you, not the fear that cages you. And to do that, you must be honest with yourself. Ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? Is it failure? Is it judgment? Is it the unknown? Is it success itself? Is it responsibility? When you trace fear to its root, you often discover that it is built on assumptions, on expectations, on imagined scenarios that haven't even happened. Fear thrives in the unknown, but so does growth. Fear thrives in uncertainty, but so does opportunity. Fear thrives in vulnerability, but so does transformation. One of the greatest truths you will ever understand is that fear and greatness live in the same place. If you choose to avoid fear your entire life, you will avoid greatness too. Every dream worth pursuing requires you to face uncertainty. Every breakthrough worth achieving requires you to step into discomfort. Every level of life you haven't yet reached requires the version of you that is willing to walk through fear. People often think fear means, I can't. But fear often means, I must. When your dream scares you, that's not a sign to pull back. That's a sign you're dreaming big enough. When your next step terrifies you, that's not a warning. It's an invitation. Fear is the veil you must walk through to reach your potential. You can either let fear shrink your world or let fear expand it. The fear that moves us is the fear that tells us, this matters. It is the fear that rises when you are about to step into something meaningful. When you're about to start a new business, when you're about to change careers, when you're about to confess your feelings, when you're about to take a risk, when you're about to leave the familiar and step into the unknown. Those moments are sacred. They are the moments when the future is being shaped. They are the moments when your life can change. And fear shows up to remind you of the magnitude of the moment. Fear is not weakness. Fear is proof of potential. The strongest among us are not the people who feel no fear. They are the people who feel fear deeply and move anyway. They are the people who face uncertainty not with perfect confidence, but with determination. They feel doubt, but they still act. They feel nervous, but they still speak. They feel intimidated, but they still show up. Do you know why they succeed? Not because they are fearless, but because they learn to transform fear into fuel. Fear can paralyze you, but it can also ignite you. It can stop your heart, but it can also awaken your fire. It can make you hired, but it can also push you to rise. Fear reveals what you care about. It reveals what you value. It reveals what you are meant to pursue. You must learn to ask yourself, what is my fear trying to show me? What am I afraid to lose? What am I afraid to gain? What part of my future am I stepping into right now? When you shift your relationship with fear from resistance to curiosity, you unlock a new level of personal power, and that power is magnified when you realize that fear is temporary, but regret is permanent. Fear lasts for a moment, but regret lasts a lifetime. Fear fades as you move forward, but regret grows when you hold yourself back. Fear makes your heart race for a few minutes, but regret makes your heart ache for years. The question you must ask yourself is simple: which pain would I rather live with? Fear is the price of admission to a meaningful life. You cannot live fully if you avoid fear. You cannot grow if you avoid fear. You cannot love deeply if you avoid fear. You cannot dream if you avoid fear. You cannot evolve into your highest self if you avoid fear. Fear is the gate you must walk through to reach who you are meant to become. But know this, you do not walk through it alone. Every version of you that fought, survived, endured, and rose stands behind you. Your past victories are behind you. Your resilience is behind you. Your wisdom is behind you. Your courage is behind you. You are not stepping into the unknown empty-handed. You are carrying every lesson you have ever learned. And that makes you powerful. Fear is simply the mind saying, something here is uncertain, but uncertainty does not mean danger. Uncertainty means possibility. It means something new is about to happen, something unfamiliar, something transformative, something necessary. If you can learn to breathe through fear, think through fear, act through fear, you become unstoppable. You become the kind of person who rises even when your knees shake. You become the kind of person who steps forward even when your voice trembles. You become the kind of person who lives not by avoiding fear, but by using it. The fear that moves us is not the fear that paralyzes. It is the fear that propels. It is the fear that whispers, go. It is the fear that pushes you out of your comfort zone. It is the fear that forces you to grow. It is the fear that reveals your next chapter. It is the fear that shapes the path toward everything you are capable of becoming. And in that moment, when fear rises like a wave inside you, you must make the choice. Will you run from it or will you walk through it? If you run, your world becomes smaller. Your dreams become smaller. Your confidence becomes smaller. But if you walk through it, step by step, breath by breath, your world expands. You expand. You discover strength you did not know you had. Fear is not the enemy. Fear is the beginning. Fear has always been the threshold between the life you live and the life you are capable of living. When you choose to walk through that threshold, you don't just change your circumstances, you change yourself. You become someone who no longer runs from challenge, but runs toward growth. Someone who understands that fear is not a sign to stop, but a sign to rise. Someone who recognizes that fear is woven into the fabric of every dream worth pursuing. And the truth is this: the moments that scare you the most are the moments that build you the most. The moments you hesitate, the moments you doubt, the moments you question whether you're strong enough, those are the exact moments that are shaping the next version of you. You don't become stronger by avoiding fear. You become stronger by facing it. Fear has two voices. One whispers limitations. The other whispers possibility. Most people only hear the first voice. They hear, "You're not ready. You're not capable. You're going to fail. You don't have what it takes." They listen because fear speaks loudly when you stand at the edge of change. But winners, those who rise, those who grow, those who evolve, learn to listen differently. They hear the second voice, the quiet voice, the courageous voice, the voice that says, "This is your moment. You were built for this. Keep going. Step forward. But try anyway." That second voice is the voice of the fear that moves you. This fear doesn't weaken you. It awakens you. It shakes you because it wants you to pay attention. It makes your heart race because it wants you to know that what you're stepping toward matters. It makes you nervous because it knows you are capable of something more than the life you are currently living. The fear that moves us doesn't show up in moments of comfort. It shows up when your soul recognizes that it's time for a new chapter. It shows up when the universe is shifting you toward your potential. It shows up when your next level is calling your name. And although it feels uncomfortable, fear is simply the sign that you are alive, deeply, powerfully, vibrantly alive. People often think bravery is about rejecting fear, but true bravery is about honoring fear. It is about acknowledging its presence and then deciding how you will respond. When you honor fear, you realize that it is guiding you toward personal evolution. It is challenging you to rise above your doubts. It is demanding that you grow into someone stronger, wiser, more capable. You cannot grow without fear because fear highlights the exact areas where you still have room to rise. If public speaking scares you, it's because your voice is meant to be heard. If taking risks scares you, it's because your destiny requires boldness. If pursuing your dreams scares you, it's because your dreams are bigger than the life you are living now. If standing alone scares you, it's because leadership is emerging within you. If loving deeply scares you, it's because your heart is powerful and capable of connection that can change you. Fear reveals your path. It shows you where your courage needs to be built. It shows you what skills require sharpening. It shows you what wounds still need healing. Fear is feedback, not failure. It is information, not intimidation. And when you learn to treat fear as information, you stop seeing it as a threat and start seeing it as a guide. But you cannot walk through fear without embracing vulnerability. Vulnerability is strength in motion. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you allow yourself to be real, honest, open. You admit you're scared, but you choose to act anyway. Vulnerability is the birthplace of courage. Without vulnerability, there is no bravery, only avoidance. Without vulnerability, there is no growth, only stagnation. When you are vulnerable enough to say, "I'm afraid, but I will try," you step into a new dimension of power. You free yourself from the illusion that strength means certainty. Strength means trying. Strength means moving despite discomfort. Strength means choosing growth over comfort again and again. The people who achieve the impossible are the people who allow themselves to stand at the edge of fear without turning back. And when you step into fear, something remarkable happens. Fear loses its power. What once felt paralyzing becomes manageable. What once felt overwhelming becomes familiar. What once felt terrifying becomes your new normal. Fear does not shrink as you grow, you outgrow it. Each time you walk through fear, you expand. You prove to yourself that fear is not a wall, it is a doorway. The life you want, your potential, your purpose, your dreams, your greatness, lives on the other side of that doorway. But here is a truth most people never understand. Fear does not fade before you act. Fear fades because you act. Action is the antidote to fear. Movement dissolves doubt. Courage is built one step at a time. The more you do, the less afraid you become. The more you try, the stronger you feel. The more you risk, the more alive you become. The fear that moves us pushes us toward action. Not reckless action, but intentional action. Purposeful action, aligned action. Fear says, "This matters. Pay attention." Action says, "I hear you, and I'm moving." There will be moments when fear feels overwhelming, when your mind tells you to stop, when your chest tightens, when your thoughts spiral, when doubt floods in. This is normal. Fear grows louder when you are closest to breakthrough. Many people quit right at the edge of transformation because fear intensifies. But what they do not realize is that intensity is a sign that something extraordinary is about to happen. The storm is strongest before it breaks. Fear is loudest before you rise. When fear grips you, breathe, slow your mind, anchor yourself in the present. Remind yourself of your strength. Remember what you've already survived. You have endured moments you thought would break you, but you are still here. You are stronger than your fear. You are more resilient than your pain. You are more capable than your doubts. You have evidence, real, undeniable evidence, of your own power. You have walked through fear before. You can do it again. And each time you walk through it, you forge a stronger version of yourself, a version with deeper courage, a version with greater clarity, a version with unshakable resilience, a version that refuses to be controlled by fear because you have learned that fear is simply a signpost pointing toward your destiny. The greatest achievements in human history were built not in the absence of fear, but in the presence of it. People started movements while trembling. People built empires while uncertain. People took leaps without knowing if they'd fall or fly. They succeeded not because they felt ready, but because they refused to let fear choose their destiny. You can do the same. The fear that moves us has the power to transform pain into purpose, hesitation into momentum, weakness into strength. It can turn ordinary people into extraordinary forces. It can reshape your identity. It can sharpen your focus. It can push you into becoming someone you never imagined you could be. Fear is not the barrier. It is the bridge. And once you cross that bridge, you see the world differently. You see yourself differently. You see possibility everywhere. You begin to trust your instincts, your decisions, your voice. You stop hiding. You stop shrinking. You stop settling. Fear no longer controls you because you have learned how to walk through it. Imagine the life you want, your dreams, your goals, your greatest desires. Imagine waking up every day knowing you are moving toward them with intention. Imagine standing at the end of your life knowing you didn't hold back, didn't hesitate, didn't let fear rob you of everything you were capable of. Imagine the freedom of living boldly, courageously, fully. That life is not built by running from fear. That life is built by walking with fear. Fear will always be there. It is part of being human. But you have a choice if fear can move you backward or fear can move you forward. It can shrink your world or it can expand it. It can silence you or it can strengthen you. It can cage you or it can guide you. The most powerful life you can live is the one where you choose fear, not as your master, but as your motivator. So when fear shows up, and it will, don't run. Don't hide. Don't pretend you aren't afraid. Instead, stand tall, breathe deeply, acknowledge it, thank it, and walk forward anyway. Let fear push you, not paralyze you. Let fear sharpen you, not sink you. Let fear move you into the life you were meant to live. Because the truth is simple and profound, your greatest life lives just beyond your deepest fear. And you are ready to claim it.